states.
Namaskar and welcome to Midday Prime. In the next 1 hour, we'll be bringing you stories and updates from India and the world and updates about the happenings in the world of business and sports and some interesting stories that are making headlines. First, the big news at this hour. Incessant rain continues to batter life in Mumbai and its suburbs. The death toll reaches 27 in wall collapse incidents. Public holiday declared in Greater Mumbai. Local train services and flight services disrupted. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asks party MPs to commit themselves to the service of common people. Warns that any unruly behavior on their part bringing a bad name to the party is unacceptable. Chairs the first BJP parliamentary party meeting in his second term as Prime Minister. The CBI is conducting a countrywide search at more than 50 places in 18 cities and 12 states and union territories related to bank frauds and scams. 14 cases registered against various companies, firms, their promoters, directors and bank officials. The Enforcement Directorate attaches assets worth 109 crore rupees of Simbhavali Sugar Limited under PMLA for bank frauds. The ED had conducted raids in Noida, Delhi and several other places in Delhi as well. Crucial hearing in UK High Court in Vijay Mallya extradition case today. If Mallya loses the appeal, the fugitive businessman might be extradited very soon. The US Senate passes a legislative provision that brings India on par with America's NATO allies. The amendment provides for increased US-India defense cooperation in the Indian Ocean and areas of humanitarian assistance, counter-terrorism, counter-piracy and maritime security. In sports, the biggest upset in the history of Wimbledon tennis. In fact, a 15-year-old girl, Corey Goff, has beaten the former five-time champion Venus Williams in the first round and has become the youngest player to ever win a match at the Premier Tournament. And in the ICC World Cup cricket, India to take on Bangladesh today. A win in this match will seal India's place in the semi-finals. Another case of so close yet so far for the West Indies as Sri Lanka wins a thrilling encounter against the West Indies. Our big story, well, in Maharashtra, at least 27 people have been killed in rain-related incidents. And in Mumbai, 18 people died in a wall collapse incident in suburban Malad. So this incident reportedly happened at around 2 in the morning in Pimpri-Pada, which is in Malad East area, after a retaining wall collapsed on a few hutments built on a hill slope. This has happened due to the heavy rains. Injured have been admitted to nearby hospitals, and officials have said that few people may be trapped under the debris of the wall collapse. The NDRF and other agencies are present at the spot, and the search and rescue operations are currently underway.
यहाँ हमारे के पास एनडीआरएफ के पास जो एडवांस इक्विपमेंट थे, विक्टिम लोकेटिंग कैमरा, विक्टिम डिटेक्शन या डॉग का कैनन सर्च हो गया, फिजिकल सर्च होगा, तीनों प्रकार से हमने यहाँ सर्च किया है. जितना बॉडी हमें मिला था हमने उसको हैंडल किया है. अभी हमारे जो कैनन सर्च है उसमें और टेक्निकल सर्च में या फिजिकल सर्च में हमें कोई अभी एक्स्ट्रा सिग्नल या ऐसा कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं मिल रहा है. इसलिए हम ऑपरेशन लोकल अथॉरिटी से उनको पूछ के हम ऑपरेशन क्लोज करने जा रहे हैं.
And Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis has announced 5 lakh rupees compensation for the kin of the deceased and ordered an inquiry into the incident. He also took stock of the rain preparedness by visiting the Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation's Disaster Management Control Room. And in another incident in the city, which happened in the wee hours today in Kalyan, at least 3 people were killed and 1 injured after the wall of the National Urdu School fell on nearby hutments. In one more rain-related incident, a portion of the road caved in Sangharsh Nagar in Chandivali, and the municipal corporation has asked the residents staying in nearby buildings to evacuate the houses and moved to safer places. A team of BMC officials and security forces also have rushed to the spot. And in Pune, 6 laborers were killed and 3 injured after a wall collapsed in Ambegaon area, which happened late last night. The Pune Municipal Corporation has requested all citizens to avoid going out if not needed and to take all precautions. It further added that in case of any emergency, contact the NDRF or fire brigade or police station for assistance.
प्रशासन से पिछले 3 दिन में इसमें काफ़ी अलर्टनेस हमने किया भी था। अनफॉर्चुनेटली ये जो विषय है हमारे असेसमेंट में बेसिकली जो पीएमसी ने एक टीम भी बनाई है जो कि जहाँ जहाँ कंस्ट्रक्शन साइट है वहाँ पे ऐसा कोई धोखाधड़ी या फिर कोई डेंजरस ऐसा कोई पिक्चर है तो उसको हम तुरंत कार्रवाई करें, ऐसा लोगों ने किया भी है। बहुत सारे साइट्स पे हमने विजिट भी कराया है। लेकिन ये जो जगह है यहाँ पर मुझे लगता है कि जो असेसमेंट में ये विषय नहीं आया है कि ये वॉल इतना मतलब जो धोखाधड़ी वॉल उनको दिखा नहीं, या फिर साथ में जो पेड़ है ज़्यादा बारिश होने के कारण पेड़ और ये जो वॉल दोनों एक साथ गिरेंगे तो क्या परिणाम होगा, ये बिल्कुल असेसमेंट की चूक है। हम इसमें मदद जाहिर करेंगे। मदद जाहिर करना इनफैक्ट फ़िलहाल इस समय मतलब हम ये जो रिलीफ और रिहेबिलिटेशन है उस पर हमारा ध्यान है।
And heavy rains in Mumbai and suburbs for the past 2 to 3 days have thrown life out of gear, and the local train services have been badly affected. As we know, the Central Railway has also decided to run local trains in limited corridors due to waterlogging on the railway tracks. Altogether, in fact, 54 flights too have been diverted and 52 were cancelled at Mumbai's Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj International Airport due to the inclement weather. And in Kranti Nagar in suburban Kurla, 1,000 people were evacuated with the help of NDRF, fire brigade, naval teams as well as local volunteers to prevent any untoward incident due to overflowing Methi river, as well as authorities declaring a holiday in the city and adjoining regions because they are asking people to avoid stepping out of their houses. So Mumbai is witnessing one of its most intense monsoon spells this year as the city has received the highest rainfall in a decade over a 2-day period, severely affecting road, rail and air traffic. And the Met Department has predicted very intense rainfall in Mumbai and its neighboring areas during the next few hours as well. And the Indian Navy is providing assistance to stranded Mumbaikars in Kurla area. Teams from INS Tanaji and Material Organization are activated, and they are joined by the naval diving teams as well. So the team moved on foot carrying safety gear like life buoys and life jackets and was able to help elderly women and children to safer areas. About 1,000 people have been shifted to safety with the help of NDRF, fire brigade, naval teams as well as local volunteers. The Indian Navy teams remain in full readiness to respond as and when required. And Shama Mishra is joining us with an update from Mumbai. Well, Shama, the situation is pretty bad based on our reports. And of course, the situation in the airport, so many international flights being diverted to either Bangalore or to Ahmedabad because of the SpiceJet plane also that had overshot the runway yesterday in the early hours. So can you give us an update first of all about the flight situation?
Well, the flight situation that we getting to know from the Mumbai International Airport Limited, the PRO, is that 54 flights have been diverted, 52 have been cancelled. These include domestic, international arrivals and departures all together. And also, we were also getting to know from the pilots that they've been complaining that there has been a braking problem on the second runway, and the work on a restoration of the second runway or making it proper is also going on, is underway. Whereas we are talking about the lifeline of Mumbai, Central Railway, Western Railway, they are trying to come back on track because we saw here in Mumbai for some time the rains had stopped, rain gods had little mercy, and the waterlogging in most of the areas had receded. Where we also saw in nearby Sion area, this is just nearby the GTB Nagar station, There's an entire colony which is submerged underwater. The water has gone into their houses,
Yes.
into their homes, and they've been complaining that the water is there since 48 hours. Talking about all these, we are getting to know from the officials, and we also saw Mumbai is the place where you see boats on the roads, and this is for the Mithi Nadi. Mithi Nadi is running above danger mark, so the evacuation process by the Navy and NDRF has begun over there, and more than 1,000 people have been evacuated on boats, and the work is going on war footing. Also, still when we are talking about waterlogging, there may be some places in Mumbai where the routes have been diverted. More or less everything, the vehicular traffic was restored. The BEST buses have started moving on.
Yes.
The central line is moving on some corridors, some patches, but is very slow moving. Also, Western Railway, they boast that the entire service between Churchgate to Vasai Road, Virar rather, that is ongoing, but we also we are getting to know from the commuters that there is a huge delay. Also, people who are stuck in the railways, including the harbour
Yes.
railway, they are complaining that the train is stuck for more than half an hour, more than 20 minutes, and they are compelled to walk on track and reach their particular destination or reach to their particular bus
Right.
stop where they can take any other alternate route.
Yes,
Here in
Shama.
Mumbai, we are also, continuously telling that the IMD has been forecasting for next 24 hours, for next 48 hours, there would be heavy rains with intermittent pauses, and that pause we
Yes,
saw
Shama.
just a while back. We are hoping that, the rain gods should have little mercy and move towards the agricultural lands where the farmers are really wanting the rain gods to see, and Mumbai should get back to normal. Mark.
Right. Also, Shama, you did speak a lot about waterlogging. You've talked about boats on the road. You've given us an assessment of what is happening with the railways. But the wall collapses that have taken place in Mumbai, we talked a little bit about, structures that could be dangerous at this time, a little bit yesterday. What kind of audit is now being done with regard to, retaining walls? Because, of course, the earth is moving underneath. It has become soggy, and the foundations of these walls are probably weak. And if they are long, big walls and there are hutments just below them, they could all be very dangerous places for those people living there.
Well, this is the problem of Mumbai. It is overpopulated, and most of the places there are illegal constructions, and as a result, we are seeing that structures like these wall, they are getting collapsed. Also, we spoke about bridges yesterday. We would like to show you that this particular bridge, if I ask my camera person to show you this particular FOB, the foot over bridge, that has been shut for public conveyance. And
Yes.
in the morning, we were getting complaints from the people, from the commuters, that this has been shut for public, and there was entire waterlogging situation here. Some people broke the structure which was kept there, for not allowing them to pass through, and they started moving out. So once the gate has been broken, people from both directions started moving out, moving in, crossing that side. So this
Yes,
is another
Shama.
problem. When you are told to, adhere to some situation, adhere to some guideline, people, because already Mumbaikars are facing a lot of problem with all the anger, with all the anguish, they
Yes.
tend to take steps which, make their life, put their life in danger. So overall here, as much as the officials are trying to keep the situation in control, Mumbaikars are really facing a tough time here, Mark.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much, Shama Mishra, with those inputs from Mumbai. Tough times for Mumbaikars, but many of them, of course, are taking precautions on their own and doing various things and helping others as well, which is really the story of the Maximum City. Moving on then to our next story. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired the first meeting of the BJP Parliamentary Party in the ongoing budget cum monsoon session of Parliament, and the Union Home Minister, also the BJP National President, the same person, Amit Shah, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and other leaders attended the meeting. JP Nadda was felicitated at this meeting because by senior party leaders because he has taken charge as the party's working president. Now, the meeting was earlier scheduled for June 25, but it was deferred following the death of the party's Rajya Sabha MP and Rajasthan unit chief Madan Lal Saini. Prime Minister asked party MPs to commit themselves to the service of the common people. The Prime Minister also said that any unruly behavior on the part of MPs that brings a bad name to the party is completely unacceptable.
पार्टी के मेंबरशिप अभियान 6 तारीख माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी वाराणसी में लॉन्च करेंगे और माननीय अमित भाई शाह तेलंगाना में लॉन्च करेंगे। इतना ही नहीं, जो एमपीज है सिर्फ पॉलिटिकल चीज बयानबाजी इसमें न लगते हुए एक सेवा का रिकॉग्निशन हर एक एमपी को, हर एक जनप्रतिनिधि को होना चाहिए। ये प्रधानमंत्री ने बहुत तृष्ट देके कहा।
And replying to a question raised by the Congress leader Anand Sharma in the Rajya Sabha, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said that this time India is a fast emerging economy. And she also said that so far as GDP is concerned, India is progressing at a fast pace despite all odds.
We are still the fastest growing economy. I would just like to broadly indicate, if United States growth has grown between 16, 17, 18 and 19 at 1.6, 2.2, 2.9 and 2.3%, and in 2019 they are at 2.3, and China's growth has also decelerated from 6.7, 6.8, 6.6, 6.3. India is still well above 7% at 7.3% growth.
In the Lok Sabha, Minister of State Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Purushottam Rupala, said that the NDA government is promoting neem-coated urea, which is very useful for agriculture.
इनपुट कॉस्ट में फर्टिलाइजर को नीम कोटेड करके जब इस्तेमाल करने का और 100% यूरिया को नीम कोटेड कर देने का जो कार्य हमारी सरकार ने किया है, इसके चलते उनकी कॉस्ट में कमी आने का हमारा पास में जानकारियां भी आ रही हैं। इसका एक बेनिफिट और भी है नीम कोटेड यूरिया का उपयोग करने से, वो यूरिया थोड़ा लंबे अरसे तक जमीन में उनका असर दिखाता है, इसीलिए भी इनका कम इस्तेमाल करने की आवश्यकता पड़ रही है और ये 100% करके इस पर एक बड़ा प्रयास सरकार ने किया है।
And our correspondent Shailendra Mishra is joining us from Parliament House with an update on the proceedings. Well, Shailendra, Parliament seems to be moving along quite smoothly, at least in this session, and everyone seems to be cooperating. The questioner is seeing good questions and appropriate answers, good answers being given by the government. What exactly is on the business agenda today?
बिल्कुल ये कह सकते हैं कि संसद की कार्रवाई सुचारू रूप से चल रही है। सत्र के दौरान तमाम संसद की कार्रवाई के दौरान ये देखने को मिला। आज भी सुबह से ही दोनों सदनों में प्रश्नकाल हुआ। शून्यकाल में राज्यसभा में तमाम अहम मुद्दों को सांसदों ने उठाया। राज्यसभा में होम्योपैथी परिषद से जुड़ा जो अहम विधेयक है वो चर्चा के लिए सदन के सामने रखा गया है। लोकसभा में भी आज एक अहम विधेयक चर्चा के लिए रखा जाएगा। तो निश्चित तौर पर ये कह सकते हैं कि विधायी कामकाज भी तेजी से आगे बढ़ रहा है, वहीं प्रश्नकाल भी दोनों सदनों में सुचारू रूप से चल रहा है। हम जानते हैं कि बहुत महत्वपूर्ण विधेयक संसद से पारित हुए हैं। जम्मू कश्मीर रिजर्वेशन बिल जो कल ही राज्यसभा से पारित हुआ, उससे पहले ही वो लोकसभा से पारित हो चुका था। तो ऐसे में ये कह सकते हैं कि विधायी कामकाज तेजी से सरकार आगे बढ़ा रही है, चूँकि 10 ऐसे अध्यादेश हैं जिनके बदले सरकार बिल लाना चाहती है, इसी सत्र के दौरान पारित कराना चाहती है। यही वजह है कि कल जो है केंद्रीय विश्वविद्यालयों में शिक्षकों की नियुक्ति में आरक्षण से संबंधित विधेयक भी लोकसभा में पारित हुआ, वहीं राज्यसभा में जम्मू कश्मीर आरक्षण से संशोधन से जुड़ा विधेयक पारित हुआ। तो निश्चित तौर पर ये कह सकते हैं कि दोनों सदनों की कार्रवाई सुचारू रूप से चल रही है और सभी सांसदों का, सभी राजनीतिक दलों का सहयोग भी खूब मिल रहा है संसद की कार्रवाई को सुचारू रूप से चलाने में राज्यसभा के सभापति और लोकसभा अध्यक्ष को।
Also, Shailendra, well, the BJP Parliamentary Party meeting took place today, and well, the Prime Minister spoke to the MPs, telling them that behavior that will bring a bad name to the party is completely unacceptable. Fill us in with the kind of details that what is the importance of this meeting and what actually came out? What are the key features?
मार्कलिन, आज जो बीजेपी की संसदीय दल की बैठक हुई, ये प्रचंड जीत के बाद, सत्ता में वापसी के बाद पहली संसदीय दल की बीजेपी की बैठक थी मौजूदा जो सत्र चल रहा है उसमें। और इसमें प्रधानमंत्री ने साफ तौर पर सांसदों से ये कहा कि वो सदन में कार्रवाई के दौरान मौजूद रहें और संसद एक तरह से विद्यालय है खासतौर पर नए सांसदों के लिए, लिहाजा वो अपना ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा समय संसद की कार्रवाई में हिस्सा लें और सीखने का प्रयास करें। इसके साथ ही साथ सांसदों को ये भी कहा गया है कि सेवा भाव से वो काम करते हुए तमाम जो सरकार की उपलब्धियां हैं, जो अहम चर्चा होती है, उसे जनता तक पहुंचाने का प्रयास करें, सरकार की उपलब्धियों को खासतौर पर सेवा भाव से। और हम जानते हैं कि बीजेपी 6 जुलाई से सदस्यता अभियान की शुरुआत करने जा रही है। खुद प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी अपने संसदीय क्षेत्र वाराणसी में मौजूद रहेंगे, अमित शाह बीजेपी अध्यक्ष तेलंगाना में मौजूद रहेंगे। एक बड़े सदस्यता अभियान की शुरुआत बीजेपी करने जा रही है और प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा है कि बूथ स्तर पर ये कोशिश होनी चाहिए और पंचवटी यानी 5 वृक्ष कम से कम बूथ स्तर पर पार्टी कार्यकर्ता लगाएं। तो एक ये विचार दिया है पार्टी कार्यकर्ताओं को और खासतौर पर यह कहा है कि कोई भी नेता बीजेपी का या कोई भी प्रतिनिधि वो किसी भी तरह का ऐसा आचरण या व्यवहार न करे जिससे पार्टी की छवि को कोई ठेस पहुंचे। तो इस तरह का व्यवहार अस्वीकार है, ये साफ तौर पर प्रधानमंत्री ने आज की बीजेपी संसदीय दल बैठक में कहा है। मार्क,
Shailendra Mishra, thank you very much for joining us from Parliament House with those updates. Moving on to our next story then, the Centre has constituted a high-powered committee of Chief Ministers of several states for the transformation of Indian agriculture. Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis will be the convener of this committee, while the Chief Ministers of Karnataka, Haryana, Arunachal Pradesh, Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh have been included as members. The Union Agriculture, Rural Development and Panchayati Raj Minister will also be a member of the committee. Now, besides that, Niti Aayog member Ramesh Chand will be a member as the member secretary. And the committee, what will it do? It will discuss measures for transformation of agriculture and raising of farmers' income. It will suggest the modalities for adoption and also time-bound implementation of agriculture sector reforms. And the committee has been asked to submit its report within 2 months. It has been tasked also with suggesting changes in the Essential Commodities Act. This is to attract private investments in agriculture and marketing and infrastructure. The panel will suggest a mechanism for linking of market reforms with ENAM and also GRAM and other relevant centrally sponsored schemes. And it will also suggest policy measures to boost agricultural export, raise growth in food processing and attract investments in modern market infrastructure, value chains and logistics, besides making other key suggestions. And Dr. Tajamul Haq is joining us, former chairperson of the Commission for Agricultural Costs and Prices, is in the studio with us. Dr. Tajamul Haq, first of all, tell us, how do you view this committee? It has 2 months. It has chief ministers of several states. It has as its member secretary the member of Niti Aayog, Ramesh Chand. But the amount of work that they have to do within those 2 months seems quite a lot.
No, I think a lot of groundwork has already been done in the last 5 years. In Niti Aayog itself, some exercise was done, and also there was a committee on doubling farmers' income under Ashok Dalwai's chairmanship. So I think they have produced volumes actually which suggest a lot of good things which can help accelerate agriculture growth and also address farmers' distress. So I think this committee actually has to take into account some of those suggestions which are already existing, and or maybe some new things also will come. But this is the good thing that has happened, that since agriculture is a state subject, chief ministers of various states are members of this committee. I think the suggestions that will be made by them, I think will have a lot of expectation. At least I hope that those will be implemented expeditiously. Right. Because what has happened is that for the last several years, in fact I should say from 2003 onward, we have been talking about various agriculture marketing reforms and also some related agriculture policy reforms. But that has the process of reforms has been very slow, and that is one of the reasons which come in the way of accelerated agricultural growth, doubling farmers' income. We have been talking about it
Yes.
for the last several years, and also to address the farmers' distress issue, because no matter whatever is happening in several states, for instance, the
Right.
growth rate of agriculture has been very fast.
Sure.
For instance, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Rajasthan, for the last
Right.
at least one decade we find very high level of growth, but still there are some agroecologically fragile regions or some socio-economic groups of people who are still not coming out of the low income trap. So
Right.
how
What
to do it? This committee, I think, is going to examine some of those things and make implementable suggestions, and I am sure I think this will help immensely. Third thing I will say that only recently in 2017 there is Agricultural Produce and Livestock Marketing Act, Model Act, prepared by Agriculture Ministry, also with support from our inputs from Niti Aayog, and that gives some kind of way forward how to go about it in terms of overcoming the constraints that we have been facing in the implementation of Model Agricultural Produce Marketing Act of 2003. So I think things will hopefully improve.
Right, but I mean, let's look at the systemic issues, Dr. Tajamul Haq. One is that perhaps the farmers are not getting good price for their products, and that's the question of doubling the farmers' income. The other side is also that supply has been pretty large. We've had gluts in various cases. We might have a problem also with regard to water irrigation this year because of a drought year. These are all, of course, seasonal issues. They may not happen all the time. How holistic is the approach that is being taken to tackle issues that can change from time to time?
In fact, the Prime Minister himself suggested in the very first cabinet meeting that we have to have a holistic approach to the development of agriculture and also to address the farmers' distress issues. Now, you also rightly said that the main problem of the farmer is that they are producing so much, but
Yes.
when the prices crash, and in most of the cases we are seeing for the last several years, even last year it happened, even though the minimum support prices were hiked substantially, the farmers did not benefit from it because the market prices, the farm harvest prices were much lower. So what I am saying, and in the case of fruits, vegetables particularly for some of the perishable crops,
Yes.
like onion, tomato, potato, in fact, because of lack of basic infrastructure of cold storage facilities, cool chain facilities,
Yes.
or even for their the kind of marketing system that is required for them, that is lacking. And as a result, I think most of the farmers producing some of these so-called otherwise high-value crops, they get nothing. So they suffer and they are in distress. So this issue has to be addressed, and of course there are some suggestions
Right.
already around, but then I think this high-level committee will go into it and do something
So, Dr.
concrete.
Tajamul Haq, what is the need to review the Essential Commodities Act?
What has happened that in some cases there is a restriction in the movement of some of the commodities which are under Essential Commodities Act, and so the feeling is that I think if you remove these restrictions or at least rationalize it, you can invoke this act only when there is emergency. Say for instance, suddenly you find in some pockets of the country or in some regions there is no grain available, and then probably you can say that this can be again invoked and grains have to be supplied adequately to them. But in normal circumstances we have so much of plenty in respect of almost all agricultural commodities, excepting of course oil seeds, and then there are several other commodities. But then you don't have to have this, and because in many cases using this you create more problems than the solutions. So I think this has to be reviewed from that angle. No, we are not saying just scrap it and then for all future purposes. If you do that, then again there could be a risk, because but then farmers should produce keeping in view the market demand, in the local market, national market or international market. Marketing, logistics or facilities should be developed. Cold chain facilities, transportation facilities should be developed. And then farm producers organizations, we are already talking about it, and then in the next few years we are going to have
Dr. Tajamul Haq, you say that all these things should be developed, but who should develop them is the big question. Should the government do it? Should the private sector do it? Should farmers cooperatives do it? I mean, ultimately, who's going to bell the cat?
I think private sector and also the cooperative sector have major roles to play now in the years to come, because we have seen without some substantial investment in the private sector and also in the cooperative sector, even the farm producers kinds of groups which you are talking about, unless that pace is accelerated, I think we have a problem, because government cannot do everything on its own. Investment is increasing. We have seen in the last few years we have increased investment in irrigation. Several projects, about more than 30 big projects, irrigation projects have been completed, and then another 68 irrigation projects have to be completed by the end of this year, for which again we need some investment. Right. We also have been saying that we are trying to develop mega food parks, because the agro processing sector or the food processing sector has to be developed, which is the future of this country, because in India hardly not even 10% of the total food we are processing, as compared to 68% in USA, 23% in China, and for that matter in several of the countries in South Korea and Japan and others.
So we've identified all the problems, we've also identified the solutions. It's a question of trying to find the best way of implementing those solutions. We leave it there. Thank you very much, Dr. Tajamul Haq, for being with us in the studio. Moving on to our next story then, in a major action, the Enforcement Directorate has attached assets worth 109 crore rupees of the Simbavali Sugar Limited under the PMLA. Now, it's a bank fraud case in which the ED had conducted raids in Noida. They also did so in Delhi, several places in Delhi. In fact, the Simbavali Sugar Limited had taken a loan of 148.59 crore rupees from Oriental Bank. And in another big boost for efforts of the Enforcement Directorate, the Singapore High Court has granted permission to the agency for attaching a bank account linking the fugitive diamond trader Nirav Modi, and the said attack has deposits, I beg your pardon, this account, it has deposits worth about 44 crore rupees, the said account. And the CBI is conducting a special drive today. The investigation agency has begun searches at over 50 places in 18 cities across 12 states and union territories in connection with bank fraud cases. 14 cases have been registered against accused, including various companies, firms, their promoters, also directors and bank officials. And let's go across live now to the Lok Sabha. Let's see what's happening in the Lok Sabha.
काउंसिल अपनी जिम्मेदारी को निभाने में पूरी तरह से असफल रही है, और उसके बारे में ये भी परसेप्शन बना कि मेडिकल काउंसिल में बहुत ज़्यादा करप्ट प्रैक्टिसेस उनका बोलबाला है। बहुत सारे मेडिकल कॉलेजेस जो अच्छे स्टैंडर्ड्स मेंटेन करते थे, उनको अपने कॉलेज को आगे चलाने के लिए परमिशंस डिनाई हो जाती थी, और बहुत सारे ऐसे कॉलेज जो कि अप टू द मार्क नहीं होते थे, उनको परमिशंस मिल जाती थी। बहुत लंबे समय तक लोगों को इंतजार कराया जाता था, और एक प्रकार से ये परसेप्शन बना कि वो एक प्रकार से भ्रष्टाचार का एक बड़ा अड्डा बन गया है। मुझे बहुत आश्चर्य हुआ जब हमारे माननीय अधीर रंजन जी ने ये कहा कि मैं इसका इंट्रोडक्शन अपोज करता हूं। मैं बहुत पुरानी हिस्ट्री में नहीं जाना चाहता, मैं हिस्ट्री को 2010 से शुरू करना चाहता हूं। 2010 में डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह जी की सरकार थी, और आप भी शायद उस सरकार के अंदर मंत्री थे, जितना कि मैं जानता हूँ। रेल राज्य मंत्री थे। और उस समय ओके well, I will explain कि वो ऑर्डिनेंस भी क्यों जरूरी है. That also anyway in whatever form you are opposing it. So what I just want to take you back to 2010 जब डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह जी की सरकार थी, और एक समय ऐसा है जब मेडिकल कॉलेज के बारे में, ये मेडिकल काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया के बारे में जिस परसेप्शन की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ वो एक प्रकार से अपने एक्सट्रीम पर पहुँचा. मेडिकल काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया के लोगों को अरेस्ट भी किया गया, और उस समय एग्जैक्टली जो अभी हमारी सरकार ने किया है वो भी एक सीरीज ऑफ इवेंट्स के बाद किया है, वो डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह जी की सरकार भी करने के लिए मजबूर हो गई थी. और मेडिकल काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया को सुपरसीड करके 2010 में एक बोर्ड ऑफ गवर्नर्स बनाया गया एक्सपर्ट्स का. मेडिकल काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया की सारी पावर्स उस बोर्ड ऑफ गवर्नर्स को दे दी गई, और 2013 तक लगभग वो बोर्ड ऑफ गवर्नर्स ने काम किया. इस परिप्रेक्ष्य में और इस बैकग्राउंड के साथ जो मेडिकल काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया के बारे में परसेप्शन था, हमारी 2014 के अंदर मई के अंदर देश में सरकार आई, और उस समय हमारी सरकार ने मेडिकल काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया की ओवरऑल वर्किंग को उसी बैकग्राउंड को ध्यान में रखते हुए उसके बारे में रिव्यू करने के लिए एक प्रोफेसर रंजीत राय चौधरी, जो कि एक देश के बहुत ही जाने माने प्रतिष्ठित, अभी वो इस दुनिया में नहीं है, लेकिन शायद मेडिकल प्रोफेशन का एकेडमिक वर्ल्ड में वो एक बहुत बड़ी महान रिस्पेक्ट एंजॉय करते थे, आज भी करते हैं. उनकी अध्यक्षता में एक कमेटी बनाई गई और उसको कहा गया कि आप मेडिकल काउंसिल की फंक्शनिंग के बारे में सरकार को राय दीजिए और सरकार को क्या करना चाहिए. एंड दिस वाज इन द कंटेक्स्ट ऑफ व्हाट द अर्लियर गवर्नमेंट हैड डन फॉर दोज 3 years. वो 3 years की समाप्ति के बाद दोबारा से शायद मेडिकल काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया ने इलेक्शंस करके दे हैड ब्रॉट बैक द ओरिजिनल मेडिकल काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया. अब उस एक्सपर्ट कमेटी ने विच वाज लेड बाय प्रोफेसर रंजीत राय चौधरी, उसने ऐसे तो बहुत लंबी चौड़ी उसने रिपोर्ट दी है, लेकिन मैं आप सबका पेशेंस और धैर्य भी चाहता हूं, क्योंकि मैं कुछ चीज़ें जो उनकी रिपोर्ट में से उनको, ताकि हमें इस विषय का संपूर्ण संज्ञान में हमारे ये विषय आ जाए, मैं कुछ उसमें से एक्सट्रैक्ट्स पढ़कर इस सदन के सामने रखना चाहता हूं. पेज नंबर 10 पर एक पैराग्राफ है जिसमें उस कमेटी का ऑब्जर्वेशन है. इन प्रैक्टिस इट हैज बीन द मेडिकल काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया दैट हैज एक्सरसाइज्ड कंट्रोल अंडर द एक्ट ओवर टाइम थ्रू फ्रीक्वेंट एंड पीसमील अमेंडमेंट्स टू द ओरिजिनल एक्ट. The MCI has gained a tight control over every aspect of medical education. Through its power to frame regulations for the establishment and inspection of medical colleges, MCI has a virtual stranglehold over every detail of medical education, from permission to establish medical colleges, start postgraduate courses, to the details of the curriculum. Through its supervisory provisions, it stipulates the requirements for infrastructure and teachers and demands strict adherence. Page 11 पर the rules and regulations for setting up medical schools are outdated and not aligned with current global norms of medical education. MCI has restricted its role purely to that of a regulator for granting permission to start a new medical college, permit continuation or recommend rejection even on minor variance from its listed infrastructural or faculty norms. This centralized, opaque structure has led to questionable practices and decisions leading to a large number of litigations. Then on the page 12, there is a paragraph which says, the public perception is that the medical regulatory bodies protects its own members rather than the public. In recent times, due to the tardy processes of the councils, state and central, the medical profession is seen in poor light by the public and has lost much of its stature. फिर पेज 14 पर एक्सपर्ट कमेटी कहती है, if the overall objective of providing health care and not just treat disease to all the citizens of this country is to be achieved, there is need for radical changes both in the medical training processes and in the oversight over the practice of medical professionals. We need to acknowledge the problems that exist in the current system and establish a system that has adequate transparency and accountability to win the confidence of the profession and the general public. The goal should be to provide competent, ethical and professional health care to all the citizens of India. There is an urgent need to restore faith in the profession and its regulatory mechanisms. The concentration of power in a single agency which lays down the educational standards, approves the creation of institutions for UG and PG education, and also oversees professional conduct of practicing physicians has not served its purpose. The structure of the present council is such that its actions are unidirectional, leaving no room for dialogue. Its structure violates the general principle in education, which is that laying down the educational standards and accrediting organizations based on their capability in achieving these standards need to be done by different agencies. Then on page 15 there is a paragraph which says the regulatory mechanism should be responsible for protecting the interests of the general public and encourage that medical competence is sustained and medical practice is ethical. In order to achieve this, major reforms in the existing structure are needed. In keeping with global standards and as is the practice in other educational fields in our country like AITCE and UGC, regulatory structure should be run by persons selected through a transparent mechanism rather than by the current process of election and nominations. Then on the page 76, this is paragraph 12.11, the committee is shocked to find that compromised individuals, so this is all about it. Then sir, I want to bring to your kind notice, इसी रिपोर्ट के कंटेक्स्ट में जो हमारी डिपार्टमेंट रिलेटेड जो पार्लियामेंट्री स्टैंडिंग कमेटी थी उसने सीओ मोटो अपनी चर्चा में इस विषय को लिया और उसके कुछ ऑब्जर्वेशंस मैं आपके सामने रखना चाहता हूं. द डिपार्टमेंट रिलेटेड पार्लियामेंट्री स्टैंडिंग कमेटी ऑन हेल्थ एंड फैमिली वेलफेयर in its 92nd report observed that the challenges facing medical education are truly gigantic and cannot be addressed with an ossified and opaque body like the MCI. Calling for game-changer reforms immediately and urgently, the committee observed that if revamping of the regulatory structure is delayed any further on any grounds, including political expediency, it will be too late as too much momentum will have been built to offset attempts at reversing the direction later, with the result that our medical education system will fall into a bottomless pit and the country will have to suffer great social, political and financial costs. इसी कमेटी ने ये कहा कि बहुत बड़ी रिपोर्ट है उस पार्लियामेंट्री स्टैंडिंग कमेटी की. आई एम जस्ट रीडिंग ए फ्यू very relevant paragraphs. The committee is shocked to find that compromised individuals have been able to make it to the MCI, but the ministry is not empowered to remove or sanction a member of the council even if he has been proved corrupt. In a day and age when the need for steady systems and enhanced transparency-based regimes are being increasingly emphasized, such state of affairs indicate that the Medical Council of India has not evolved with the times. Such a state of affairs are also symptomatic of the rot within and point to a deep systematic malaise. Otherwise, how could it happen that the MCI, which has laid down elaborate duties and responsibilities of the physician under the MCI Code of Ethics, Regulations 2002, would have at its very top a person who was arrested on charges of corruption in 2010. Then the committee is of the view that there is too much power concentrated in a single body and it has failed to create a transparent system of licensing of medical colleges. The MCI currently sets standards for recognition, inspects and licenses medical colleges, oversees registration and ethical conduct of doctors. It now proposes...
Minister is entitled to express his view.
I think you have to... probably have to be enlightened about the total history of the whole subject. I think there are a lot of new members. They probably don't know much about MCI. And these are the extracts from the Parliament our department related Parliamentary Standing Committee. This is not a report from someone, an outsider. This is a report from the members of the Parliament themselves. So, and I am just pointing out some very salient features. I would seek your permission and seek the patience of the members. I'll try to cut it short. I'll speak in the end also, but just to give you a brief about why it was necessary, why it became necessary for their government also to do that in 2010. The committee is of the view that there is too much power concentrated in a single body, that is the Medical Council of India, and it has failed to create a transparent system of licensing of medical colleges. The MCI currently sets standards for recognition, inspects and licenses medical colleges, oversees registration and ethical conduct of doctors. It now proposes to undertake accreditation as well. Such concentration of powers creates a serious conflict of interest and provides a fertile ground for misuse of authority. The committee therefore favors bifurcation of the functions of MCI and recommends that different structures be created for discharging. Then one more reference I want to make about what was the observation of the Supreme Court during the same period. Honorable Supreme Court, keeping in view these recommendations, in its judgment dated 2nd May 2016, in the matter of Modern Dental College and Research Center and others versus State of Madhya Pradesh and others, issued directions to the central government to consider the recommendations of the Standing Committee and to take further appropriate action in the matter at the earliest. Then the Apex Court had also arranged for constitution of an oversight committee for the interim period till an alternate mechanism is put in place by the central government in place of MCI. Sir, these are the few observations made by three different bodies. The Supreme Court said that an oversight committee should be made, and the Supreme Court itself suggested that a committee with Justice R.M. Lodha, a former Chief Justice of Supreme Court, headed by him, and Dr. Sareen and Mr. Vinod Rai, was made. This committee had a tenure of 1 year. During that period of 1 year, this committee, while it was overseeing, it was an oversight committee, while it was observing the functioning of the Medical Council, it gave 2 reports to the Supreme Court through the registrar, and in those reports it mentioned that the Medical Council of India was not cooperating with them, and it was virtually difficult for them to sort of discharge their duties. They were supposed to be overseeing everything that was being done then. So at the end of the 1 year, their term in fact expired. And then a new oversight committee was in fact formed with Dr. Paul, who is right now the member of the Niti Aayog. Under his leadership, another committee was formed. Again, everything is under the direction of the Supreme Court itself. And this committee also, they have in fact, this committee again, after a year or so, they have written a long letter to the Government of India. If you have the patience, I can read some contents of the letter, whereby they have also again said that they could not in fact function properly because the Medical Council of India was neither cooperating, rather they were creating all sorts of
Only substance and pitta
models in that. And in fact, this is suddenly because of that, because of the
don't worry.
because of the non-cooperation from MCI, this oversight committee also in fact resigned. The government went to the court again, and after that it was suggested that the government should make another committee. The same committee of Dr. V.K. Paul, it was again actually requested, and this Medical Council of India was thereby by a decision of cabinet, like it was done in 2010, it was superseded, and in fact it was replaced by this Board of Governors. I would come to the details of what the Board of Governors could do in the last couple of months, because there had to be continuity in the work of the Medical Council of India, because it's a regulatory body. The Parliament was not in session. It was in fact, an ordinance was brought, and then in the next ensuing session in 2018, this amendment bill was passed by the Lok Sabha, and later on it could not be taken up in the Raj Sabha. Then in the next year again it was brought as an ordinance, again brought to the Rajya Sabha, it could not be taken up, and now this is being brought here after having got its way cleared through the cabinet. Again the ordinance is being converted into an amendment. And I would like to inform simultaneously that in the meantime, based on the recommendations of the Ranjit Rai Chaudhary committee, the government has already drafted the National Medical Commission bill, which it proposes to bring before the Parliament in near future after getting its way cleared through the cabinet. So this is I think bill today, amendment bill, is a simple procedural issue whereby it is the need of the hour, and at the end of the whole debate, I would bring to the knowledge of the honorable members the exemplary work that these Board of Governors have done in the last 6 months itself. Though ultimately we have intention to bring the National Medical Commission bill in the near future, but right now to have the total continuity, and as per the legal norms also, every ordinance has ultimately, it has to be converted into a law for which it has to be facilitated by the members of Parliament. That is why we have brought this amendment here.
Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary.
And that was Dr. Harshvardhan, in fact, the Minister for Health and Family Welfare, presenting the Medical Council Amendment Bill in the Lok Sabha. And this bill seeks to change the Medical Council of India, because it is a body that has appropriated too much power in a sense, and so it has there are many complaints against it, and over time there is a reason now. There are a lot of committees also that have suggested changes in the structure of the Medical Council, and this bill will bring those into effect. The bill will be debated. There will be a board of governors which will actually work for 2 years, or supervising the role, or actually taking over the role of the Medical Council and bringing it back into the realm of creating high quality content, doctors and medical education in our country. So that was the gist of what the minister was saying while he was presenting that bill in the Lok Sabha, which shall now be debated in the House. But let's conclude now. But here's a final story. While there's no denying that the blistering heat is too much for humans to bear, spare a thought for the mute birds and beasts who have no one to speak to them. Well, there's a person in Ernakulam in Kerala who does more for them, and here's his story.
Meet Ernakulam's own birdman, Narayan, 70 years old and dedicated to the service of nature. In the blistering heat, Narayan cares for the birds that suffer without water, buying and distributing earthen bowls that he encourages people to fill with water so that the birds can find some relief. The sight of these creatures of nature frolicking in the water thrill him no end.
मैंने इस जिले में अब तक करीब 50,000 पौधे बांटे हैं और करीब 10,000 पौधे अपने गांव में खुद ही रोपे हैं। अब जब गर्मी इतनी ज्यादा है तो इन बेजुबान जानवरों और पक्षियों का ध्यान रखना हमारा फर्ज है। मैंने करीब 10,000 पानी के सकोरे खरीदे हैं और पूरे एर्नाकुलम में बांटे, जिनमें कई संस्थान क्लब्स शामिल हैं। इसके नतीजे काफी अच्छे आ रहे हैं और लोग पक्षियों के लिए पानी रखने में काफी दिलचस्पी ले रहे हैं। अगले साल मैं इस मुहिम को पूरे केरल में फैलाने की सोच रहा हूं। अगर एक बर्तन से करीब 100 चिड़िया पानी पी सकती हैं तो हम अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं कि 10,000 सकोरों से 10 लाख चिड़िया पानी पी रही होंगी। जान बचाने के लिए एक कटोरा पानी भी काफी सहायता कर सकता है।
Narayan's work for the environment is not confined to just laying out water for the birds to drink and bathe in. He also runs a massive campaign for planting trees. Narayan says that saving the planet is more important than saving money for the future. Change in the world is sometimes brought about by the actions of one single person. Narayan has assumed that role with ease and to great success. For Good News India from Ernakulam, Kerala, DD News.
And on that good news note, let's conclude. Thanks very much for watching. Namaskar.